would like to say one thing about my introduction. I appreciate being invited here, and I'm glad that we could be here. I feel like I'm back in a shadow, and so I stepped up this way. Teresa mentioned that Jean Roach is the incumbent. Jean Roach is 77. Jean Roach is a doctorate. Jean Roach is my friend, and she is running for the Coronado City Council. She is a wonderful woman, and she has endorsed me in this race. My name is Elizabeth Jean Roach, and I am not 77.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Now, it's a good segue into what I wanted to talk about, because I got this in the mail today.
Yeah.
Addressed to me. What is Elizabeth Roach hiding? And I brought my glasses because I wanted to see if anybody saw a resemblance between my portrait put out by my opponent and myself. Now, I don't see a resemblance to what they say about me and what I'm representing. Both of these, both the glasses and this advertisement, are utterly ridiculous. Let me tell you a little bit about the history. On one side, it says, Elizabeth Roach tried to change her name for the election to fool voters into believing she was the incumbent. But a judge ruled against her, calling it misleading, transparent attempt to confuse voters. Well, I have what the judge said. And he said I could use my name. My name is Elizabeth Jean White Roach. He said Jean Roach, just Jean Roach, was an attempt to perhaps confuse the voters. When I went down to the registrar of voters and I put in my filing paperwork, we talked about what I should put on my ballot. And the person said one name usually does better than two names. I talked to 3 political consultants and they all said, pick one, pick Jean. And I said, okay. Because in the last election, there were 120,000 votes. I don't know 120,000 people in this 5-city South Bay area. I don't know. So I picked Jean Roach. The teachers union didn't like that. And so they took me to court. When I got a phone call from Richard Ochoa last August, within 10 minutes of the phone call, he was telling me he was going to sue me if I did not concede to his demands to change my ballot designation and to change my name. And my answer was I would be happy to go down to the registrar of voters and we would get a consensus, and if there was corrective action, I'd be happy to take corrective action. Well, he wasn't satisfied with that and he sued me. Okay, so on the other side of the flyer, it says, Roach also wants you to believe she's an educator despite not having worked in any occupation for 6 years. What he didn't say is what the judge said about this. He didn't quote the judge. The judge says there is no merit to Alvarez's attempt to fashion a hyper-technical distinction. Roach is entitled to be listed on the ballot as an educator. Accordingly, her ballot statement reference to being a lifelong educator is not misleading. When he filed the suit, he neglected to put into the paperwork that I was credentialed in 1992. He neglected to put into the paperwork I hold a lifetime clear credential in the state of California. He didn't give that information to the judge, and the judge still found that I was qualified to be an educator. So, I want to move off of that. Let me see if I missed anything I want to share with you. The other thing that came out of the conversation with Richard Ochoa is that he discounted my work as a part-time teacher. I have 4 children and I've been teaching part-time. I also have been homeschooling for 13 years. And he discounted that, and I just have to wonder how many part-time teachers in San Diego County would take issue with him not counting that as professional experience. I see this as a suit that was brought for harassment and an attempt for intimidation. I think the advertisement is ridiculous. However, I also want you to know I don't bear anybody any ill will. This was done by the American Federation of Teachers, not teachers at Southwestern College, not my opponent, not the other person on the back. I think that teachers, especially at Southwestern College, are interested in how they can improve their quality of teaching, how they can improve their classrooms, how they can help their students reach for success. That's what they want. They don't want stuff like this. I do have to thank the American Federated Teachers Association, though, because as I went around collecting them, I got one sent to me, and I had several others from my friends. And the reaction has been, I am absolutely not going to vote for the people on the back, but I'm going to vote for you. So it may work for them, it may not, I don't know. But there is something I do want you to know, just so we both know a little bit about how it works. If you get it, you can go home and look at your copy. It says on the mailing stamp, where the postage stamp is, it says nonprofit organization. These flyers were not sent out to fellow union members or fellow teachers. They were sent out across the board to the population. That is a violation of federal law, to use your nonprofit organizational status for political purposes. It was a violation. Also, that is committing postal fraud. Now, I have to think, why do they see me as a threat? If they have the biggest and the best and the most important and the best ideas, why am I a threat? Why am I drawing their money and their attention? So, let's go back to what I had planned to talk about before the flyer came in the mail, and that is the reason why I'm running. I have 4 reasons. 1 is 16. 1 is 14. 1 is 12. And 1 is 7. And those are my 4 reasons for running. I have a daughter who had severe learning disabilities in the 4th grade. She was tested, and the doctor came to me and said, looking at her test, I would have thought she was mentally retarded. In the 5th grade, she could not spell the word the. Now, in 11th grade, she's at grade level. She's proficient in all of her subjects. I have my 14-year-old who wants to go into law. She's on a 3-year program to get out of high school because she has a plan for her life. I have a 12-year-old who is so auditory he can pick up an instrument and play it. And I have a 7-year-old whose main goal is to be bigger than his brother. So I tell him sleeping helps. And he's buying it at this point. Those are my reasons. I have another reason, and that is I have a friend. She has 4 kids at home. The oldest is a sophomore in high school. She lost her husband to cancer in May. And I was talking to her and I said, do you need anything? How are you doing? Are you making it? And she said, yo no sé leer. En inglés ni tampoco en español. Necesito ayuda con mis hijos para repasar sus tareas para que ellos puedan sobrepasar en la escuela. And I said, I understand, because when you can't read in English and you can't read in Spanish, and your kids bring home homework, and you don't know what to do to help them, you feel powerless and helpless. And I said, I will be there for you. And there are hundreds of families in this same area. In Southwestern Community College, we are working on basic things. My name is Elizabeth Roach. I would invite you to support me in my run for Southwestern College Community. I did that wrong. Southwestern Community College, seat number 1.